So there's a man in his early 40s, let's call him Chijioke, for the sake of this write-up. Chijioke is an uneducated man who is into container business, import, export, and many legitimate business enterprises. He inherited a huge business empire from his father, and he successfully, even taking it to far greater heights. Chijioke met a young, fine fair-skinned, gorgeous lady and got romantically attracted to her. Let's call the lady Amoka, for the sake of this write-up. Amoka is a well-educated, classy, and beautiful lady who has just recently finished from university when she met Chijioke. She had just gone through a rough breakup with her ex-boyfriend a few weeks before meeting Chijioke. For the sake of the story, let's call her ex-boyfriend Namdi. Amoka considered her ex-boyfriend, Namdi, the true love of her life. However, as the relationship failed, she moved on with her life, or so it seemed. And then came along Chijioke. Within a few weeks of expensive dates, luxury shopping and quality time together, Amoka and Chijioke started dating. Chijioke is what you will call an Agbabola, an Odegu, a true rich money-spending big boy in every meaning of the term. In no time, she got pregnant, and they decided to formalize the relationship. They had a traditional marriage, and within a year, they had a pretty baby girl. Let's call the child Gioma. After about 3 years, Amoka told Chijioke's husband that she would like to go for a master's in the UK. Chijioke fully paid for her master's of about £15,000. He paid 11 months' rent, about £13,000, and he set aside £5,000 monthly which he sent to her for her upkeep. He bought her a rented car as soon as she landed in the UK, and all she had to do was take the UK driver's license exams and she started driving. So while other students were hustling for 20 hours of work in warehouses and shopping malls, Amoka was living a super comfortable life. All Chijioke wanted was for his wife to focus on her masters and not be distracted or bothered by any stress. Amoka and Chijioke also agreed that Ijeoma will stay with Chijioke in Lagos while Amoka was doing masters, and once the masters. As the masters were rounding up, and with the situation and state of Nigeria are getting worse, Amoka explained to Chijioke that she feels it would be better if they all relocated to the UK as family. Chijioke was fine with this, but he felt it may be difficult for him to fully relocate as all his business is completely domiciled in Nigeria. So they reached a compromise. Amoka and Ijeoma will relocate to the UK first fully, then Chijioke will be visiting from time to time while trying to figure out if there's a way for him to also fully join them. This sounded like a good plan. Amoka started sending Chijioke some paperwork for him to sign regarding consent for school for Ijeoma when Ijeoma comes to the UK. She also sent him some more paperwork and documents, many of which were voluminous, but he mostly signed a lot of them without reading much details. So everything was sorted, and the only thing left was for Chijioke to come to the UK with Ijeoma to meet Amoka for them to start the planning of their new lives together as a family are going forward. Eventually, Chijioke came with Ijeoma and handed her over to her mom. Everything was fine until about 2 weeks after, and then Ijeoma, with tears in her eyes, said, "Chijioke, I have something to tell you, which is eating me up and killing me inside." He asked her what it was, and then she dropped the bombshell on him. "I never loved you. I tried to love you, but I could never love you. I have never gotten over my ex, Namdi. I'm sorry it took me so long to say this." He was totally dumbfounded. There was no response to this sort of bombshell. Amoka went ahead and said, "We also need to tell you that the paperwork and documents you signed for Ijeoma was the formal transfer of full parental responsibility of Ijeoma to Namdi, who has now officially adopted her and will henceforth be her father. I am really sorry." At this point, Chijioke wished for the ground to open up and swallow him alive. He felt he was in a movie at this point and hoped the director would simply scream "cut" to end this horror he is in. But alas, this is real. This is his life being shattered right before his eyes. Chijioke stood up, carried his box, and called his friend on the phone who lived in a nearby city and in tears begged him to let him just come over to clear his head. Let's call Chijioke's friends. Chibuza for the sake of this story. Amoka said Chijioke never beat her, cheated on her and never treated her badly. Chijioke is a good man, but I'm just not the one for him, she said in tears. She says she feels suicidal continuing in the marriage as the guilt will make her kill herself if Chijioke doesn't let her go. Amoka stated that her mental health is in severe jeopardy if she doesn't walk away from Chijioke. Chijioke was sad, lost, and confused about all of this. None of it made any sense. He's lost his wife. He's lost his child, he's lost his marriage, he's lost everything. He asked her, "Am I the father of Ujoma? Does the child belong to me or to Nnamdi?" Amoka looked at him and thought about the question, said nothing, and walked out. That was the last time he ever heard from her. Amoka is back with Nnamdi and with Ujoma, also living with them. Today, Chijioke is back in Lagos. He went back sometime last month, trying to pick up the shattered pieces left of his life. This is a true life story that just happened. Till now, I honestly remain in total awe when I think about this entire story.